climb up the mountain to go to the other side. That's the other side of the shift. Or you can look at it as the road. The narrow road is the way. The building blocks are the path. And he only lays a few bricks in front of you at a time to show you the way to go. That way you won't go to the right or the left because there's cliffs. You want to stay right in the middle of the narrow path. So these are the two things that he showed me. And then Derek added to this because he said, you know, the building blocks are also our spiritual family. He brings each of us into life in relationship with each other at this prayer center for a purpose. Because every one of us is getting revelation. Every one of us is getting words. And we either confirm each other, or it's like a big puzzle that each puzzle has to fit inside the other one. And when it's all complete, we see the big picture. And I really want you to get that, because that is really the proper fitting together. We cannot do this alone, because he doesn't give anyone the corner market on the kingdom.
No, he does not.
He gives all of us a piece of the pie, and you got to put it all together to make a full pie. It really is that way. So I said this to Derek, these transitions are to prepare us for what is to come, but also equally important, it may seem like after we're going on the other side of this shift, that the transitions are accelerating. You use the word accelerating in the prayer call. That's exactly what it felt like, that it's going to start happening more. So why was this important? Because we have to learn how to handle it and react to it in a way that we embrace him, that we embrace what he's trying to get us to do and learn and say, and not worry about our emotions, because our emotions are always going to tell us things that we don't want to hear. But if we stay in line and we quote the word and we stay in the word and we persevere and we press in, he's going to show us how to react, and we're going to maintain his peace and joy. It's going to be like we're riding an ocean wave in a float, instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, on another transition, I'm overwhelmed. That's going to be the difference.
Amen.
So I really want y'all to hear that. Don't lose your peace and your joy during transitions. Press into them.
Press in.
And as Pastor said, we're going to accelerate. Things are going to start happening faster. So we must be ready spiritually. The time is now, and he keeps giving me the phrase from Esther, he has prepared all of us for such a time as this.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
This is going to start the time when we will see an increase in the manifestations and the power flowing through all of us like never before. And it's not, and please, as you're doing it, I want everybody to think, fall down on your knees and thank him, because it's not us, it's all him.
Hallelujah.
Every miracle that he produces, we have to keep that humility. We can't at all allow ourselves to be puffed up
Hallelujah. That's
or look
right.
inward.
Amen.
But don't even point to yourselves. Just love and glorify him in everything and love each other. And then I put in here, this was the last thing he gave me today. And I think it was yesterday or Shabbat morning. Don't ask why. He said, ask what you want me to see and learn and do during this time. Don't ask why. Ask what you want me to see and learn and do during this time. And I know this is going to sound funny, but I'm going to quote some scriptures to back this up. Seek the spiritual gifts. As it says in 1 Corinthians 12:7, to each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. That's why all of us are going to see an increase.
Hallelujah.
Yes, we need each other.
Or 14:1, 1 Corinthians 14:1, pursue love and earnestly desire the spiritual gifts, especially that you may prophesy.
Hallelujah.
So the last things, be intentional with what you ask from him and seeking what is on his heart. Be intentional about fasting and praying more in this season than ever before. Be intentional about blocking distractions. Be intentional about giving no excuses for laziness or apathy. And the last one, to leave on a positive note, be intentional to be free from anything preventing you from moving forward in the kingdom of Elohim. Anything, any bondages, get rid of them. And you can get rid of them yourself. You don't need a formula. You just need him, and to cry out to him, and it'll gone.
All right.
Amen.
If he's dwelling in me, and he's speaking to me right now saying that his house lies in ruins, then what does that say about my relationship
Oh
with
my
him?
goodness.
What does that say about my prayer life? I'm praying, obviously reading, but why is it in ruins? Obviously my priorities have been messed up in some area.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate when my priorities are messed up, because now I don't know what to prioritize. Because I feel like now I'm just kind of lost. Like, okay, if that's not number one, what is number one? And I just go through this season of, I don't really want to do anything because I don't want to prioritize the wrong thing again. But I looked at verse 6 a little bit more, and it says, "You have planted much but harvest little. You eat but are not satisfied. You drink but are still thirsty. You put on clothes but cannot keep warm. And your wages disappear as though you were putting them in pockets filled with holes." It really resonated with that last line. Your wages disappear as though you were putting them in pockets filled with holes. Because I do work, and I've been saving up a lot of money. And as this Christmas time came by, and I'm looking in my bank account and noticing I'm not saving as much as I thought I was, and the numbers are not adding up. And the clothes that I put on and can't keep warm, not only is it cold, but it's the fact that we're consuming, or I've been consuming a lot, but it's never been enough. In a sense, I've been consuming, not just buying things or eating money, but indulging in entertainment or indulging in a lot of music or watching movies, just doing things that I know are fun to me, which in turn is building my own house. I'm building my own fine house because I'm living a happy life. I'm loving the stuff that I watch. I'm loving the music I listen to. Everything is fine for me. I have a fine house, while the house that my father lives in is in ruins. Meaning that the things I'm consuming are not fitting for the relationship that I have. I'm not being intentional. So now I have to be intentional, right? And in being intentional for building this house, I have to go up into the hills, bring down timber, and rebuild the house. Which means I have to put in some work. I can't just sit and wish for the house to be rebuilt and then it be rebuilt. I have to go up and actually bring some fruit, bring some something,
or maybe too slow, or something didn't go the way you thought, and and then the timing just kind of affected everyone.
Yes.
So everything you do has to be intentional. In fact, it has to be in tune with God's perfect plan, which is already planned out in the Bible, right? So if we're in tune with His will, we're just actually living out His perfect plan on earth, and it will all fall into place.
Everybody shout hallelujah.
Came to seek Yahuwah the Lord. And Jehoshaphat stood in the assembly of Judah and Jerusalem in the house of the Lord in front of the new courtyard and said, O Yahuwah Elohim, the Lord God of our fathers, are you not Elohim, God in the heavens, and do you not rule all over the kingdoms of the nations? And in your hand is there not power and might, so that no one is able to stand against you? Listen to what he says in verse 7. Are you not our Elohim?
Amen.
He transitions, he shifts now to the personal. He said, you are God of our fathers, you're God of the heavens, you're God over all the kings of the world, but then he shifts and says, are you not our? And he shifts the personal. And so there's something that's powerful in that one statement. Are you not our God? You have driven out the inhabitants of this land before your people Israel and gave it to the seed of Abraham, who loves you forever. And they dwell in it and have built you a set apart place, a holy place in your name, saying, if evil does not come upon us, such as the sword, judgment, pestilence, and scarcity of food, we shall stand before this house and in your presence. For your name is in this house, and cry out to you in our distress, and you do hear and save. So he's remembering the prayer of Solomon. He's remembering, if we stand here, we cry out to you, then you're going to remember me. And now see the children of Ammon, of Moab, and Mount Seir. It's down there in Petra, down in the south, whom you would not let Israel invade when they came out of the land of Egypt, for they turned from them and did not destroy them. When they came out, he would not let them, the Israel, go in there and take them out. But he's repaying them by saying, and see, they're repaying us by coming in to drive us out of your possession, which you have given us to inherit. O our God, our Elohim, would you not judge them? For we are powerless against this great army that is coming against us. And we do not know what to do, but our eyes are upon you.
Thank you, Lord. That's
There's an abandonment. When we don't know what to do, we say we don't know what to do. Just be honest with them. You tell them, I don't know what to do, but my eyes are on you. I'm trusting in you. And it says, and all Judah with their little ones, their wives, and their children stood before the Lord. And the Spirit of the Lord, Yahuwah, as it is in Hebrew, came upon Yahaziel, son of Zechariah, Zechariah, I'm going to read in the Hebrew, son of Benaiah, son of Yeiel, son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, in the midst of the assembly. Okay, so there is a spirit, the Spirit of the Lord came upon this Levite, and he said, listen, all Judah and you inhabitants of Jerusalem, and King Jehoshaphat, thus said the Lord to you, do not fear, nor be afraid of the face of this great army, for the battle is not yours, but the Lord's, but Elohim's. Go down against them tomorrow. See, they are coming up by the ascents of Tzitz, and you shall find them at the end of the wadi before the wilderness of Urel. It is not for you to fight, he says in this. Position yourselves. And that's what I want to talk about just 1 second, is to position ourselves, intentionally position ourselves. We must gain, as she says in her song, a posture of victory. We must change our posture to have a posture of victory and to stand still and see the deliverance of the Lord with you. Where else does it tell you to stand still? Having done all, in Ephesians 6. You stand therefore and you clothe yourselves with the garments of the high priest. And what does the high priest do? He ministers and he gives glory, he gives praise. That's what we are called to do. And not only did that happen here, so I'll read about 1 second, but it also happened in Jericho, but it also happened again. And it will happen again at the time when the armies amassed together at Armageddon. What does it say? I won't flip there for sake of time, but Revelation 9, go and read it. What is it, the first thing that they do? They begin to praise him as he proceeds to go to the battle of Armageddon. It's talking about him getting on his horse and he's getting ready to go and slay the enemies. And I'll just sum up the story, that when the praisers, the next morning, Jehoshaphat sent the praisers out, and it brought such confusion to the enemy that the enemy turned on it themselves and destroyed themselves. And I think I have it says in verse 20, they rose early in the morning, went out to the wilderness of Tekoa, and as they went out, Jehoshaphat stood and said, hear me, O Judah, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Trust in the Lord, your Elohim, and be steadfast. Trust in his prophets and prosper. It says, be steadfast, be established. So they went out, and what did they sing? They sang, give thanks to the Lord, for his loving commitment is everlasting. And the armies turned on themselves. When you begin to praise in the midst of an impossibility,
Amen.
and he says, I will take this. This is not your battle. You go forth and you praise. That praise will go forth. It's something you can't see in the natural.
That's right.
But there are many multiple angels, many spirits, his ministering spirits that will go out on the breath of your praise and cause such confusion to the enemy. Because when you bring praise, it brings light into the earth, and light brings order. And you can see what you're doing. You have order in your life. When Father speaks light, the enemy goes into chaos mode because he doesn't know how to handle order. That is what happened. And so this is what we are to do. We are to position ourselves, stand fast and stand firm.
Right.
Be intentional in our praise. Be aware of the enemy and cry out to him, as it says all through the Psalms. But this is the battle, or the final battle that will be. Go and read it in Revelation 19, because it talks about praising him and blessing his name, and then he gets ready to ride. So on the wings of our praise, those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Spirit and in truth is what we gird ourselves with the what do you call it? Not the garment of praise, but the weapons of our warfare. Ephesians 6. This is what we gird ourselves with truth that goes around us, and that worship.
Gird our loins with the belt of truth.
Yes. The Lord told Aaron, "This is how you bless my people. I want you to put my name on my people, and they shall be blessed." In the Hebrew language, Yevarechecha Yahuwah Vayishmerecha. Ya'er Yahuwah Panav Alecha Vichunecha. Yisa Yahuwah Panav Alecha Vayasem Lecha Shalom. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom. Amen.